Hello, here we are to do the second part of solving exponential equations. We're going to look at graphs and tables and figure out how do we find that solution from a graph and table. If you remember in a graph that when you graph two things, the solution is where they intersect. So we're going to do that. It's very easy to do with Desmos. I'm going to show you the table on the TI. I know that you do not have a TI at home, probably most of you, but I want to show you what the table looks like on just one of the problems. And then we'll just look at the graphs and how you do that with Desmos. So if you look at this example, 3 to the power of 2x minus 4 equals 3 squared. Now, you notice the bases are the same, so you can just set the exponents equal to each other. But if you want to use the calculator, and just a way to show you how to do this, we're going to go to graph. The left side of that is 3 to the power of 2x minus 4. By the way, if you are working on some type of computer other than a Chromebook, you have a desktop or a laptop or a Mac, then go to TI if you would like. They are making this student software available for free. They do not have it ready for Chromebooks, but what we're doing in assignment you can do easily through Desmos. Okay, so we graphed 3 to the 2x minus 4. Now let's hit not control, hit tab. And type 3 squared. Okay, now remember 3 squared is 9. We're not going to see 9 because our window stops at 6.67. So I'm going to go to menu, zoom out. Oh, I didn't want to zoom out that bad. Can we undo? Okay, menu. Window. Zoom out. Let's move the center right here. Why is it not showing that? Okay, let's start over. Home, new document. Don't save. Graphs. 3 to the power of 2x minus 4. Tab 3 squared. Menu, zoom out. There we go. Okay. Now, do you see where the blue and the red line cross? That is the intersection. That is the solution. And we're going to find that on Desmos. Really, really easy. What's not the easiest to see on Desmos, I like the way it shows it on here better, is the table. So watch what happens if you go to Control T. Now remember that this little skinny column over here is the x's. These are the y's for 3 to the power of 2x minus 4, and these are the y's for 3 squared. If you click here, you can see all of it together. Well, this is what we're looking for right here. What happens where x is 3? Where x is 3, the y's are the same. Right? So for both equations where x is 3, y is 9, that's where they intersect. That's the solution. So if you graphed this equation and you looked at the table and you found where x is 3, the y's are the same, the solution is 3. If you look at your graph, you'll see that where they intersect is x equals 3. All right, let's do Control T, take off the table. Where they intersect, go to menu, analyze graph, the intersection. Three, 9, that's the same point, so x is 3. That's what we would do on a TI. So if you've got one at home or if you have a computer where you're capable of downloading that software, that's what you would do. All right, I'm going to get rid of that. Now, what if I don't have, then I want to go to Desmos. Desmos.com. Now, when you do an assignment for me in Desmos, it's student.desmos. If you just want the calculator, Desmos.com. Watch how easy this is. We're not going to look at the table on Desmos. We're just going to look at the graph. So on your paper, of course, these are your notes. You don't have to fill out the table part. So that first equation was 3 to the power of 2x minus 4. Now, on Desmos, you do have to be careful. 3 raised to the power of, be sure you put a parentheses, 2x minus 4, close parentheses. And hit enter. Now, if you just type 3 squared in this next row, it's not going to graph it. You're going to have to do y equals 3 squared. Or you can do y equals 9. Either way. Okay, again, you can just scroll down there. You can see where the two lines intersect. And on Desmos, the nice thing is you can tap right there, and it shows you that where they intersect is 3, 9. So x is 3. Okay. You can look at a table, but you can't look at this. I don't know how to look at the same table on a table for both of them. But you can do this table, and then you can do this table. And you'll see that this one is 9 all the way down, so you could go up here, but I don't think it lets you scroll. No, you would have to, if I type a 3 right there, then it shows 9. So it's also the same in that table. If you look down here, where it's 3, it's also 9. And look, it's plotting those points up there. The main thing you need to know, boom, right there, 3, 9, that's your solution. Okay, let's look back at your paper. So for this one, if you're able to look at the table, and if you're not, that's okay, but I wanted you to see it anyway. Where x is 3, both of the y's were 9. Here, this point where they intersect is 3, 9. This is just window settings they use for the calculator, and on Desmos, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, let's look at example 4. 2 to the power of 3x plus 6 equals 8. Now, when we solved that on the other video, we had to write it with the same base. If you're using a calculator, you don't have to write it with the same base. Take this off. Take this off. Our first equation on one side is 2 to the power of 3x plus 6. Set my iPad down. Type with 2 hands better. 2 to the power of parentheses 3x plus 6 close parentheses. And the other one was 8. Now, if we're solving that without the calculator, without a graph or a table, then you have to rewrite that 8 as 2 to the third. If you're graphing, you don't have to do that. What do we know? We want to know just where they intersect. And the solution to that is going to be x equals -1. Okay. Again, if you're graphing, you're looking for the solution. It's the x value of where the 2 points intersect. Okay, so this is x equals -1. And again, that graph looks like, it's not going to let me go back. That clawing sound you hear in the background is my puppy. He's outside. He wants inside for the 95,000th time today. There's our graph. Okay. So we had a line at y equals 8. This was -1, 8. So the solution is x equals -1. Okay. It's kind of a long explanation, but what you're doing is you graph them and you find where the solution is. Okay. Go back to Desmos. Take these off. If you look down on your paper, the next one, number 7, it says solve these equations using the graphing calculator, show the table in the graph. These are your notes. You don't have an easy way to get to the table, so we're just going to use the graph with Desmos. Any assignment, you would be expected just to use that graph and look at that. 2 to the power of x plus 1 equals 2 to the power of 2x plus 3. We don't need that one anymore. Take it away. Okay. 2 to the power of 2 x plus 1. I'm on number 7 on your paper. You remember when Mr. Riddell told you a while ago that you have to use parentheses? And then I didn't. You see what happened? Takes it out of the exponent. And then the other one is 2 to the power of 2x plus 3. All right, class, what do we need to do? Put it in parentheses. Right, and what are we looking for? We're looking for where they intersect. X is -2. Pretty easy if you're graphing. Type them in. Remember to use parentheses to keep that in your exponent. And then find the point where the two graphs intersect. That's number 7. The answer is x equals -2. Okay. Number 8. The two equations are, I'll move this over here so it doesn't look like I'm like looking off to the side. 2 to the power of 3x minus 4 equals 8. Now, if it's just a number, you're going to have to put the y equals, and you'll catch it if you don't because it won't make a graph. 2.333, you can either put it as that decimal or you can make it a fraction 2 1/3 or 2.3 repeating, but that's your intersection. Okay. All right, number 9 is 1 over 25. Now, if you were doing this by hand, you would have to change it to the same base, and you'd have to remember your rules for negative exponents and fractions. In this case, all we have to do is the y equals 1 divided by 25. Notice it's that little line there, and I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it. Number 2 is 5 to the power of x minus 5. This other one, 5 to the power of, open parentheses, x minus 5, close parentheses, enter. We want to know where they intersect. That one's a little hard to see. Just zoom it out like that. You can see right there where they intersect. It's about 3. There it is. 3.04. Okay. So solving by graphing is easy. Go to desmos.com, type what's on the left side of the equal sign in 1, type what's on the right side of the equal sign in 1, and find where they intersect. Okay. The inequalities part, we are not going, the key I think is there on your notes if you're interested in looking at that, but we're not going to worry about that. So we're just going to worry about the equations. All right, that's it.